2022 was the year of Skyrim, because it was the 11th anniversary of the game released at 11th day of 11th month of 11th year, 2011. This year, 2023, is a year of Half-Life, because on November, also 11th month, it's the 25th anniversary of Half-Life 1. And it's got released for free for limited time on Steam as well. And also, this year I managed to finish Black Mesa playthrough. So, everything's covered. And of course, every year is a Star Wars year, because there's always a new movie, a new show, and I'm playing a Star Wars game for you for free on this channel. So, because of that, I need a quick side project to complain about some things, so we're gonna go through Lost Coast. Of course, we're gonna play on normal, but with developer commentary for that extra spice. Alright, we start off with a bunch of weapons, because this is a tech demo essentially, and the idea was that it was supposed to be a part of the chapter Highway 17, where you, I guess, get off and then deal with whatever this is. So immediately, of course, with the gamer instincts, I'm gonna turn around and go backwards to see what's going on. And we're gonna cover a few things here. There is more revolver ammo here. Fuck, I'm gonna fucking drown it soon enough and not get any of it. There we go. There we go. Am I full on revolver ammo? Yes. So we're gonna have to carry that with us to not waste it, to be frugal with our resources. And before we hit off the fourth, actually this is a fourth commentary node, as opposed to starting off with Gaben telling us all about it. Look at this place. This is a sea, because obviously it's not a fucking lake. That's a bit of a big lake, wouldn't it be? But the blue sky, the blue sea, this wide dead-ass line of a horizon shining over there, and these blurry, clouds. Just like, it's weird to see. Also, what's weird is that the sea is completely calm. There's hardly any waves. Maybe at the beginning, when it's hard to render an entire sea for a player to see, to watch, it might be more convincing, but dead-ass clear, pure and calm like this, it's just weird. It's just extra surreal. Right, anyway, so the commentary node, and alright, I heard that the waters around here are full of leeches for some reason. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I found the leeches. Alright, so there's that. I'm not carrying that damage over to the gameplay. Fuck this. Yes, supposedly leeches, and they'll eat you alive. There's a lot of leeches, especially considering that leeches don't live in salty waters, because that would kill them. And there we are. Right.
The remains of the ship in front of you were once part of a puzzle we cut out of the Lost Coast. The original design of the puzzle was based on the idea of the player and the fisherman cooperating together to solve something. This was the type of puzzle we'd always wanted to attempt in Half-Life 2. Unfortunately, as development on Lost Coast neared the end, and this puzzle still wasn't finished, we decided to cut it. It's always painful to remove work, so we've tried to evolve a process for making those kinds of decisions. For example, with this puzzle we asked ourselves, is this puzzle actually fun? If not, how much work does it need to be fun? Does this puzzle fit within the purpose of Lost Coast? Would our customers appreciate this puzzle being finished more than they would appreciate, say, soldiers rappelling off the cliffside? In the end, it made more sense to put this problem on the shelf with other interesting ideas and come back to it later.
And I think essentially they did. Well, obviously they put it on the shelf, but they did come back to it, because I think there are cooperative puzzles in the episodes for Half-Life 2. So, of course, they put in some development, they've got some code left over, so they can utilize it later on, right? So the work didn't go to waste. They even left the whole model in, right? Oh, this black line is weird. It's like horizontal, but not horizontal to the, like an axis of a ship. So it was put in later, and that's interesting. I don't know what it is. Like a rope or something. Something to pry it apart. Maybe so that it doesn't collapse and doesn't cause... or like doesn't pose danger for people who want to look around. So this is a tech demo. It's a short piece of gaming that also got cut out. And funny, because he says, well, this is a cut out. The whole thing is cut out of the game already, right? But they still had cut out. What is it? Removed content. Cut content. Cut content in the cut content. In the form of this supposedly ship puzzle. So. At least it didn't go to waste because they managed to release the whole thing here.
Hi, this is Gabe Newell, and welcome to the Lost Coast. In this tour, we're going to be talking about a new graphics technology we've been developing called High Dynamic Range, or HDR. We'll also be giving you some insight into the design and production challenges we faced during the construction of the Lost Coast. First, a quick explanation of the commentary system. To listen to a commentary node, put your crosshair over the floating commentary symbol and press your use key. To stop the commentary, put your crosshair over the rotating node and press your use key again. Some commentary nodes may take control of the game for the purpose of showing something to you. In these cases, simply pressing your use key will stop the commentary.
There's a note telling us about all this, about how to interact with these nodes. But the instructions exist for it. When you select whether you want the commentary or not, it tells you use the use key on a commentary node to activate it, and you need that knowledge in the first place to start interacting with them. And I don't know. I'm not sure if it's better, if it's really that, I don't know, that good of a use of resources, something like that. Whether Gaben at valve.com, I think, tells you how to use those nodes after you've been introduced to at least how to start them. And if they couldn't squeeze just more text on the screen saying if you don't want to continue the node, just hit the use key again. But that exists. High Dynamic Range, HDR. This is an abbreviation present in multiple technologies across multiple technology pieces. Multiple things, products, because they were developing the high dynamic range, and at the beginning I thought it's the thing that makes you that simulates the irises adjusting to the brightness, as you can see at the clouds, hopefully. But no, it's more, and it's also the fact that it's Gaben says it's their technology for the game, which they can implement later on in the previous titles, because it's all the same engine and it's all the same platform of theirs. So they've got digital distribution and they can just backpatch their own games like that with one update to a single title. HDR is a technology of a monitor. So if you don't have that, it wouldn't work. But apparently it's game simulated no matter your screen. So there is a different HDR compared to a monitor HDR, and this one should work everywhere, supposedly, I guess. And it should be present in all half-lives, but I'll mention that in a moment as well. These are, of course, crab traps that you throw at the bottom of the sea and wait for the crab to crawl in. Of course, you bait them, and then later on you check up on them the next day, possibly, to see if anything gotten in, because the crabs are smart enough to get in, but not smart enough to get out through a single hole that exists in the trap. I don't know if it's spring-loaded or if it should be, or if it's just a steel crate box, mesh box, and the crabs are just retarded and cannot get out. But one way or another, this technology exists. This is what it is, and that's how it works. Right. Let's go with this node now.
When the art team started to think about a location that would demonstrate the power of HDR, a beach was one of the first choices we made. The visual relationship between the sky, the water, and the rocks is something we could not achieve without HDR. In order for high dynamic range to correctly simulate the light's interaction with the surfaces around you, like these wet rocks, we needed more precise information about the surfaces than we've had in the past. And now going forward, we're modeling textures in 3D packages to ensure that the physical information encoded in the texture allows HDR to correctly bounce light off the surface. We also designed the colors and values of each surface to ensure they will be correct across all exposure levels.
And that's something that I sort of could have not, I don't know, touched on in Black Mesa playthrough, where this is, Black Mesa is of course a fan-made remake of Half-Life 1, but there's a lot of information and things to consider when you're creating a remake, because here they specifically color balanced textures for the new tech of HDR, so it's already included. But if you didn't have that, but now you would have HDR, would you think to correctly color balance the texture, or would you think to try to preserve the look from before, from the original? Like, obviously upscaled and up detailed, so that's a little bit different in the first place, but would you change the colors to so that the sun can be rendered in the reflection better? Or would you even consider that in the first place, that you could benefit from specifically calibrating your colors, your color palette for the design to work with your new tech? Or would you just slap it on and let it render itself? Or would you not bother with HDR altogether to avoid that issue? And you wouldn't know what the developer would do, because like I said, it's their game, their engine, and their series of game and platforms, so they can patch it in right back. So if they're patching it, I don't know if there is a place in Half-Life 2 where you experience such wet rocks for it to matter, an environment where HDR would benefit from, an environment that would benefit from HDR. So maybe they added it in, but it just doesn't really show off that well, because there is no opportunity to really let it shine. So that's why they made a demo like this. But now you've got that in the options, and will you really consider it to... Will you, for instance, fuck up an entire map just to make it wet, so that you can show off some HDR? Right. Next mode.
With conventional rendering, seen here on the left, if something on the screen is 20% reflective, like the wet sand, then the maximum reflected brightness can only be 20% of the maximum brightness of your monitor. HDR's more accurate simulation of light ensures that the sun's reflection on this wet sand appears as it would in the real world, which could potentially use 100% of the maximum monitor brightness. HDR uses bloom to simulate light that is beyond 100% of a monitor's maximum brightness.
I'm pretty sure I've got that in the options, the bloom, but it flips on and off, so let me quickly check that. Yeah, it got unthinged again, so let's see quickly.
With conventional rendering, seen here on the left, if something on the screen is 20% reflective...
I don't know if that's much different, but anyway, I flipped the thing again, so we're going. Yeah, the wet is also a thing. This coast, it's not... They wanted to talk about wet sanded beach, and Europe has sandy beaches, and this isn't a sandy beach. This is like where... This is the bottom of the sea when the sea retracts because of the tides. Because you can see the giant rocks, right, and big rocks in the sand. And beaches are just small sand. Well, there are different kinds of beaches, but at a coast like this, it would be fine to have just white sand or like yellow sand only, instead of those big, large rocks in here, also covered in like barnacles. So I don't know why they chose that kind of sand and that kind of coast to show off. Oh, like over there. That's something that you have more likely than this tidal, this uncovered thing. Or tide uncovered. Anyway. Next note.
The process of building characters in Half-Life 2 taught us many things. By the end, we believed we'd figured out a more effective process for designing and constructing characters. This fisherman is the first character we built using that process. Design-wise, the fisherman was focused on showcasing HDR and the way light falls on human skin. The highlights on his forehead and nose are good examples of specularity on human skin. You can see how the wrinkles on his cheeks and around his eyes are an example of how we can use normal maps to add depth. Production-wise, the fisherman was built using a similar process to the rocks you saw on the beach. We model the 3D character at a very high detail, then extract much of the physical information and store it in the textures.
Hey! You there? Wait a minute now, aren't you? You are. You're that scientist chap, Friedman, Fishman. Am I right?
No.
You must be here to take on the Combine.
Cute.
Not sure what one man can do, but no other reason to visit St. Olga at a time like this. I'll take you to where they made their base, or as far as I can, at any rate.
Right, what can one man do? And yet I'm here to do all of it, apparently. Wrinkles and high dynamic range is something they were trying to use because it's the game from 2005. Oh right, in 2 years there's gonna be 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2 then again. I wonder if they're gonna put it up on for free again, like this, like Half-Life 1 actually. Well, his face then, with the HDR, the game is from 2005. He just keeps on talking, man. His face utilizes HDR. It was designed to utilize HDR and look good in that, but because it's from 2005 again, and at that time they were not using subsurface scattering in games yet, and Matrix already was using it. So, how to make the skin look more realistic? With HDR? No, with subsurface scattering that exists now. It's not taxing on the tech, on the hardware. So turn it on. It's better, and it's the tech for the times. I guess the future has already passed. Is what I'd like to say. Also, HDR and bloom when 100% brightness simulation. Clearly, this guy utilizes some tech that blooms his voice to over 100%, because every word he says echoes so fucking hard off of all the walls. It's like he's screaming. They say that bodies of water have great acoustics and let the sound waves be carried a long way, but it's not carried a long way, it's echoed so much. Like he's yelling, but he's not. Like, if he's standing all the way over there and trying to yell to me, actually, that would make sense. But when he was right here and the voice echoed so hard, that didn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. So maybe lower the voice bloom, I guess. Also, he's got a harpoon, and this game has an achievement where you fire a single round out of every weapon. Only a single round out of weapons. But you can use grenades, rockets, and gravity gun with impunity. So he's gonna drop his harpoon and we can carry it around. It doesn't work as well as you would expect, actually. It's not like you can use it to impale enemies with it like with the crossbow. Or it also doesn't...
Here, let me just unlock this gate for you. Got the key right here.
The harpoon doesn't align always in line with radially with your
that gun and no dawdling.
with your crosshairs, so it can just slam sideways into enemies, not impaling them. And even if you get it straight up, straight ahead, you might end up not impaling anyone. So that's disappointing. That's disappointing because Circular Saws from Half-Life 2 had that special interaction where they can cut things apart, but Harpoon doesn't. So disappointing. Lost opportunity. He's gonna keep telling us to do things. I'd like this is how far you got me to their base. Yes. Wow, you're so helpful. Old men, old people. I would want to just single out men, right? That would be sexist. Yeah. So one more thing.
Us with a lot of rendering challenges. In fact, we have to render the scene 3 times. Once for the refraction of what's under the water, once for the reflection of everything above the water, and once from the player's view. You can see the reflection and refraction scenes in the 2 small windows on screen. In the refraction, we calculate per pixel how much water you're looking through to do a volumetric underwater fog to simulate particulate matter. For our full HDR solution, we had to go through the entire engine and modify every bit of code that calculated light and color. For example, these water reflection and refraction renderings had to be improved to support the full range of contrast values.
Hurry, lad, get up the path.
Right. Saint Olga. So this takes place supposedly in Mediterranean, but that hardly matters because it's all again Western European architecture. Also apparently medieval fucking guard towers that kind of clip out of the coast, but from afar, it looks more like Western European architecture, one way or another. Not really screaming Mediterranean to me, with the white and red things. Not like Wattle and Daub, like fucking here again, medieval shit. Weird. But it's called Saint Olga, and Olga is not an Anglo-Saxon name, obviously. So it's local, right? Saint Olga. There are many places that are called after saints, like Saint Helen, and things like that, and after people like Martha's Vineyard. But these people got relocated here with their English speaking, and they don't call it whatever locally it is for the word saint, and then Saint and Olga. They change what they understand, saint, and then keep the proper noun, Olga. Kinda weird, but could be explained with the fact that Combine relocates people forcefully so that they can't start uprisings for their local motherlands, just like Romans did, where they hired legionnaires and sent them off to guard different provinces so that they can quell rebellions there, rather than to have moral quandaries about their own town doing rebellion and them needing to quell it. Right, so let me show you. See, first off, it remains horizontal, but if I need to shoot at this angle, shoot the spear at this angle, it won't impale anything. It will hit like kind of sideways actually, and it won't impale anything if I'm dead on like this as well. Also, a fisherman. Also, we're Gordon Fishman apparently, because he's a fisherman. This is biased. That's racist. It's a projection. You're projecting your own whatever you've got in your little head over there, old one too, onto me. Fishman. Yeah. He's a fisherman, right? And he's got a spear. Only why? Since everyone hunts, well, traps crabs, and just fishes with a fishing rod or with nets, not with harpoons. Why have you got a harpoon? You wanted to look tough? Right. This is how far he helped us up the base of Combine. And there they are. Crouch and sneak, just like in Apex. Typical. So look. Gonna get it as straight as I can. I killed both, but I've impaled none. And I can still pick it up. I don't need it. That's fine. I'm gonna go get the revolver ammo. Only a little bit closer, cause if I'll pick it up when I'm one round out, I'm gonna waste 5 others. So I'm just gonna carry it higher. And to end it for today, the complaints that I wanted to fit in somewhere, because in KOTORs it might be a little bit more difficult with all this story and shit and complaining about the mod. There it is. There we go. Player. There's this other platform for videos and supporting your video creators directly, monetarily as well. I mentioned in Black Mesa playthrough actually that I've managed to get in, and they ask you how many subscribers you've got, and based on that they transfer a bunch of videos over right away. I've got a lot of videos, so they didn't transfer all of them. They barely scratched the surface, and I wondered whether if you get more subscribers that would change, in a sense that would there be more automatically uploaded to Play a Year, which was Uplay, I think. Utreon. It was Utreon, which used to be known as Utreon. Automatically uploaded to the channel. It's not. Now I know it's not. But what's worse, I treated it somewhat as a backup. And now they're mad. They started shelling the town, trying to put blame on me. It's not on me. It's your fault. You don't have to do that. As a backup, because I'm uploading to YouTube and it automatically uploads to Play a Year. But I've noticed, as I've recently logged in to see how are things over there, that it's terrible. It's awful. The mirrored uploads are so fucking spotty. Like, I'm missing many videos that I should have had on the channel there. They're just not there. So, on one hand, I could just manually download everything that I've got on YouTube and upload it to PlayViewer, but that's a lot of effort, especially the longer I go, and I've begun far behind already, so that's it. And unfortunately, I'm not earning millions off of YouTube, just like a certain Turkish cockroach stealing ethot, who's also turned out to be child groomer, thief, stealing not only video ideas, but also thumbnails and titles and pronunciation and gameplay when she began as quote gamer unquote. Someone else played her game and she was just pretending to play it, pretending to be doing some commentary. Right, there he was. Man, how far behind am I in revolver ammo now? Well, I should use something else, because I want to be full in maxed up. Ah, shit. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea either. That's a shotgun. This isn't going well. This is a failure of game design. Somebody's surely, but... Die already. Die already! Oh, there we go. Man. Dumping ammo in them and they're not dying. 21 rounds that I shot. Shit, right. And a child groomer. Keeping boob pics of 15-year-old girls, and also a dream stealer from cancer patients who wanted to meet her, but she decided she has more important partying to do instead. So, yeah, I'm not earning millions, so I don't really have a crew to hire to do that for me. So I don't think I'm gonna be... Oh, this staircase is weird. So I don't think I'm really gonna be manually filling up all the gaps. Essentially, manually backing up my channel to PlayViewer anytime soon. So, we're kind of in a safe spot here. In a safe space, you could say, yes. Very leftist of Gordon here. And I'm gonna end it for today. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed and hopefully we will see each other in something I play for you for free. In the meantime, of course, interact with this video and every other video on my channel, preferably by watching and sharing it with your friends. Subscribe, and if you don't like the content, it's entirely your fault.